If I stand right here, I've got air leaks in stereo. I don't know if you can hear it, but a little air leak right there. And then back here, and I just put that in yesterday. It wasn't a brand new valve, but it never leaked before. And then back here, on the underside of the tank, I have a new valve for that as well. But we'll get to that in due time. So today's project, and I'm starting to realize that I should have put some more lights on this. Well, I knew I needed more lights. I only put lights in half of this building. It used to have just, I think you can see, ding ding. It used to have just little lights like the whole way, and they got rusty and crusty, and all of a sudden equipment got big and they were always hitting the tops and breaking. So I got lower profile and I got LEDs, and I got decent LEDs because they need to work when it's minus 25. Not that I work out here very often, but it can happen. Anyhow, you guys might recognize this trailer from a couple weeks ago. I had to do some welding, get her back square and true. I think I did that pretty well, and make it stick. And so today we're going to dive into this stuff. So we got 4 jobs. 3 of them are pretty easy. We have skid indicators. We have tarp bungees. I have to change the leaking valve. Those are the 3 easy ones. The bigger one is putting remote control gate openers and tarp on this trailer. Now, I've done it before. I did it on the Timpty. This one's set up a bit different. Probably different in a better way. So now is when we have to start making a decision. And honestly, every time I look at it, my decision is the opposite of what I initially planned on doing. What I did with the Timpty, I would go look at it, but Zach's got it down at my uncle's. He's moving some Durham around for cleaning, get ready to clean. And these have a little bit different setup as well. That on the Timpty, I wanted to put both of them on the same side. I probably could have, but it was kind of awkward. So I put the front one on the driver's side, the other one on the passenger side. Don't hate it. But with this one, there's a better mounting rail for it right there. So there's lots of room to put them on the same side. Initially, I was thinking, and I'm still considering it, putting them on this side. What I don't like, I am really thinking about putting it on the passenger side. Let me know if you think that's a terrible idea. I'm sure by the time you do say something, I will have already done everything that needs done. But the reason I want to put it on this side is so it's out of the way. It's just with the conveyor on the drill, we did bump one a little bit. Did some measuring, and I think it's going to go better if we put it on the passenger side. I'm going to need 6 inches from the center of these holes to the center of this shaft. Well, that puts me out here in no man's land. So I do want to be able to operate pretty much without having to, like, I could go into the next rail But I think up here's better, just so that you're not slouched over. And the other thing is when you figure out this offset from there to there, we're kind of sticking out to about here, so I would have to cut this lock off. Now, that's not the end of the world. And in fact, what I could do is swap them side for side. The other side does not have the lock, and it's got a little extra shaft on it. So it's cut behind the bearing. This one's set up a little differently. We're going to have to shorten that angle just a little bit, probably 5 or 10 degrees. I'm sure she'll work just fine, because those guys rarely get to 45. So they show it with it cut off. But then up here, they show it with the crank in. What I'm planning to do... Oh, I see what they're saying, is that you can cut it and then bolt it to the back, bolt it to the front. Okay. I didn't do that on my last one. I kept the shaft in one piece. So aside from... That's not part of this. That was yesterday's project. We got everything kind of laid out. We have our... this is the Tarp motor. Good thing I wear steel toes. I did get out of the way. This is your Tarp bar, motor mount, whatever. An extension for the pipe. I had to do that with the old Volvo grain truck. You cut that to length that you need. I'm thinking about mounting the controller right here. I think that's a pretty decent spot. Probably at a 45, just so it looks good. Electrical will follow the hydraulics. This, we do have 8-inch hopper augers for this, but I don't have a wet kit on the semi yet. That's probably a next year job. I will probably have to drill a hole in there for a receiver, which I did see somewhere. 1, 2, lots of cable, because I already put a auxiliary power on this semi so that it could run the Timpty if needed. And I switched from the ones that they send. I have a harder time finding them. I might have to run to town and get a different one, because this will be a 2-pole, I believe, vertical, and I've switched to the horizontal styles. I had 3 of them fail. And I don't know. I can get the horizontal ones in town, so that's what I switched to. Other stuff we have, junction box, remote should be in here, all sorts of screws and fasteners, odds and sods. I think first step is going to be trying to get all these off. So I'll work on that. So we got the first one mounted. I could not get that to budge at all. You can see I had the air hammer out. I had the torch out. Yeah. So seemed actually quite simple. We do have a little play in there, so I'll probably end up wrapping that with tape before I go to drill it, because you still have to drill a hole through, just so it's nice and centered. And probably have to do the same there. I think that'll be fine. This right here is probably one of the most technically difficult parts of the whole operation. No, what I did last time when I did the Timpty is it was a brand new trailer, so I pulled those apart and I took it to the drill press. But kind of got to mark them and then drill them. And as you can see, I can't really sit here and drill from the top. I got to turn everything to where it's square. I'm going to drill a pilot hole and do my bigger hole. And on the last one, I absolutely nailed it. But yeah, you're trying to match your angles and everything. Make sure you're centered and not drifting. So we'll see what happens. Oh my God. 2 for 2. I should buy a lotto ticket. Everything went fairly well, except drilling and cutting that was kind of tricky. Cutting it, the measurements in the book were kind of less than ideal, we'll say. And I kind of just did a trial and error. I must have put that thing on 4 or 5 times before I cut it to where I thought it was a good length. And we'll see once it unrolls a couple times. I did leave a lot of adjustment available. As you can see, I stacked a bunch of washers in there. And I could still cut another inch of that tube if needed. Got most of the electrical run except for these two. And we just need to get them to the controller. The electrical underneath is all run over there. Got our tattletales on, our skid indicators. So really, right now, is just this is left to do. And the bungees I still need to do. But I want to wait until I can roll the tarp closed. And I still need to do that air valve. Other than that, it went pretty good. I was really, really, really surprised that I was able to get this guy off so easy. I expected bad things out of that. And, I still need to put these back in. I'm going to have to drill some holes. Not really sure what's going on here, but I seem to have lost one of these. I had them laid out last night. I had everything counted that, yeah, we had enough, exactly enough. And I cannot find it anywhere. And I've dumped all my bags out all over the place. Looking for it, don't know what happened. So I'm gonna have to run to town once I got 3, I need 4. I'm not trying to point blame, but, and I don't think this would be his MO, but we have a stoat that runs around here. If I get a chance, he usually shows up in the afternoon. I don't know if he stole it. I know for a fact it was laid out here. We do have ravens and crows. Well, we don't have any crows right now, but we have ravens kicking around too. They might have stolen one. I have one with a slightly bigger hole, and I have one with a lot bigger hole. It's a pretty loose fit for my liking. So, town's only 2.5 miles away, so I'll probably just run into town. But get these all soldered up. All right, we got things all together and working. I did not mount this yet because I didn't know which way. I honestly can't remember if it's had A, B up on there or what. And yeah, to reverse the motor direction, all you got to do is change these two. Now I'm going to mount this, and then I got to do the pairing of the motors over here, I guess, on the other side. So one step at a time, we'll do this. All right, so we got units. We got both of these paired, and we have the limits set on that one. It's actually pretty easy to set the limits. You'll just cycle through, you get to your proper chute. Got to have them halfway open, which they are. As you can see, a little canola dribble in there. And then we go to edit unit. The old ones, the select button was there and the power button was up there, but go yes. We go set limits. I want to set the close limits. So you got direction 1 and direction 2. I'm not sure which is which. Ooh, that's going to be correct. Ooh, a little aggressive. There. Set limit. Ooh, a little aggressive again. And it just saves the positions. I don't know if you can read that, positions. And then you go set open limit, save limits. And then I guess we go back out to chute. Chute 1's 0% open. We'll close it. That should be closed. And lo and behold, it is. Now we're going to add the tarp, because you can see right now it doesn't do anything. Set up. I got to press teach for 7 seconds. I'm sure that light will blink or something. There. And then you go add unit. You gonna add the unit? It's not letting me add it. Guess we'll try that again. 6, 7, 8. There. Now it's adding it. Tarp added. Exit. There's no limits on the tarp, and the motors should be open and close as per what I set up before. Looks like I gotta cut that one zip tie and move it a little bit. But other than that, works pretty good. So really, that's all I have to do is, finish. I'll probably put some sort of one of these guys right there, just keep stuff from moving around. So I really do like the Michel system. They're really slick because they have so many channels that are built in. And so, like, say you got a Super B, you can have 2 different tarps, no different than, oh, you could have 4 different chutes and you just got to cycle through them. And it's got, also has the auxiliary buttons, and same thing, you can cycle through them, you can change the name on them. It says they have the option for a swing auger, and I am going to talk to them about, I doubt it's hydraulic, but it might be. That would be really cool. Or even if I could get a receiver that sends a signal, I could make like a solenoid block to run our power swing. I have a Cramble one. Yeah, that's Cramble on the 1370 down at my uncle's, but it runs its own remote. So I'm hoping I can pair into these. I got to talk to them. That's a summer project. But another thing that we're probably going to add, this trailer came with the Michel's hopper augers, which would be really slick, and that's another auxiliary function. And rather than having to butt the semi up and swing the conveyor underneath, just pull up beside it and start going. So it pretty much makes it so that we could usually fill with one guy, and that's a plan for next year. We have the 8-inch, I think they're aluminum ones on this. I would like to put the 10-inch aluminum ones on the Timpty. We might need a receiver or something for that as well, but hey, the ability to free up a guy is huge, so that's really what I'm digging. We would have to put hydraulic kits on stuff too. That's just not in the cards for this year.